Hi everyone. I only really have one major thing to talk about this week. I'm a day late, but it's kind of a big feature, and that's the fusion mechanic. So right here, I added in a little NPC, the bat here, just an old sprite I used, just like the demon here is a shop, that I made into an interactable NPC to start the fusion system, just because it's a placeholder. I don't know if it's going to be an interactable object or an NPC, but something I can click on to activate the fusion menu. So when I do, I pull up my list of party members. Now, for testing, I've always had a protagonist, a healer that I threw some healing spells on, and a fire mage that I threw some fire spells on, and then as I've added a couple new abilities, I threw them on there, so their names don't totally matter anymore. But it's still useful to have these preset party members that I can just throw anything on, and I don't have to worry about recruiting specific enemies to be able to test. So what I've done is I went in and programmed one fusion between fire mage and healer. So if I select them and they fill out these two slots, and then it shows the product. So the product I've just preset as the druid, and then I can confirm that. So I'll have some sort of like preview window so you can take an overview of their stats and what you're going to get out of it. But when I do this, over here, I just have the moves that a druid would already have. And what it happens is it generates like the enemy version of the druid first. So with their moves, right now, they're set to having the same level and stats that they would normally have, although I want to put in rules that would be like, if the component party members have experience already, then maybe you get a bonus to experience here too. But what you get over here is a combination of the moves that come from the previous two fusion materials that the product doesn't already have. And I've set a limit of 8, but that could change, and I can go down and select which ones I want, right? And then I can confirm that. Let's say I leave out Fireball and Smash. Now, this list was populated with no redundancies, so if the two fusion materials have the same move, then you won't see it twice, and you won't see it if it's already here. I'll just confirm that. And then if I look in my party menu, I have the Druid. And I think I put Cure and Cure All on there. So if I look at skills, yeah, I have them. So there we go. And we can take a look at the summary page, and these are just the defaults that I've set for a druid, but I'm going to add extra rules that these stats can be affected probably by the fusion materials. And then if I go into a battle, then we see we have the druid, and they have all of their abilities that I've added. Yeah, obviously this menu is pretty bare bones. Just wanted it that I have a place to go to fuse people away. And, there's could be some extra rules added of, maybe some fusions disallow certain moves on being inherited on certain enemies, like they're incompatible, although I don't know if that's a super interesting mechanic to have. I already have a way of disincentivizing. So, like, if I don't want a certain enemy type to make magic viable, I could I have options already. I don't need to have an exclusion list of moves, really. I can just make their magic really bad, or if I don't want them to use physical skills, I can just have them be a magic user that has better magic skills or mind skills or whatnot, and less good physical stats. I could also maybe have some enemy types that don't have any MP and can't cast spells, but could pass their abilities on to the next fusion. So yeah, I can still have those enemy types specialize without disallowing moves. I do need to have like a summary screen where you can see before you fuse things away, what am I fusing away, what exactly are their stats, and what gains am I getting, if there's any boost to experience, what the result would be of that. I think the enemies are going to have maybe a couple of level up moves just so that you can carry them for a bit and then they run out very quickly. So it's not, like Pokemon where any party that you want to pick gets new moves all the way up to level 100 and you can stick with the new part with the same party, but more like Shin Megami Tensei, where it's like you hold on to them for a couple levels and then you get rid of them. But I haven't designed any UI yet. There's going to be animations. You'll be able to see the enemies and all that. Probably similar to Shin Megami Tensei, there will be level limits on who you can fuse. Like certain enemy types at a certain level might lock you out of you making that fusion until later, because otherwise you could just keep like combining them and get the most powerful one in the game from the beginning, which is a little unbalanced, but that'll all be figured out. Yeah, and the other rule that needs to be implemented is that while maybe a character has a max of 8 skills that they can have, I don't necessarily want you to be able to grab the whole list all at once, because it wouldn't take very many fusions until you are making party members with a full list of abilities. So I think the absolute max might be 8, but maybe the max for any given fusion may depend on the level of the fusion. So I think that makes a lot of sense for scaling at different points of the game as well. This was very bare bones, but like a very, very important mechanic that I was, pitching the game on. So now I can start, as I add more enemy types, building out that table of what the fusions are. I only had that one example, making different pathways to get different party roles and balancing everything. And yeah, I'm very excited. So then, yeah, the only other thing I really have to show this week is that I've started work on a Paladin. So a fusion of the Cleric, which I showed last week, and the Soldier. I've always given that example that a Cleric and a Soldier would make a Paladin, and I'm working on silhouetting this shape. I don't know if I'm 100% happy with it. I wanted to make the helmet more interesting, like I was just filling out space with the silhouette, and I don't know, I drew these bars on it, and I'm like, it kind of looks like an eye. I like that, but then I don't know, I wanted to make it more interesting, add its bite, but it looks a little aggressive for a Paladin, which there are flavors of Paladin that can be portrayed like that, but it's possible I might just keep this and make it into something else. I don't know, but this is what I've worked on. That's my example fusion. I didn't get the animation done in time, and now I'm starting to lean towards it may not actually be the Paladin. It may be some other sort of Dark Knight or Death Knight or something like that. But yeah, most of the week was just making the mechanics and the code behind the scenes of the fusion itself work. And yeah, pretty short video, but thank you for watching. Just wanted to make sure that I checked in on everybody this week again, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.